Hello everyone and welcome back to a new book review. Before starting this video, I want to make a disclaimer. This is officially the first video in English on this channel and the first official English book review on this channel. Why am I making this disclaimer? It's because I kind of filmed a vlog before that, and this vlog was supposed to be the very first English video that will be posted on this channel, but the editing is taken way much more time than I thought it would take, so I decided to film another video to post it and then to finish editing the vlog and then to post it. And in that vlog, guess what I'm saying? I'm saying that welcome to the very first English video on this channel. So this is a little disclaimer to tell you that you will be hearing the sentence again in another video that will not be the very first video in English on this channel. It would be the second one posted, but the first one filmed. I wish you're following with me. I'm not gonna bother you anymore. This video is a book review, and it is the review of a book series. It's called Agatha Raisin. It's the Agatha Raisin series by M.C.Beaton An, and it's the review of the first books of the series. I'm gonna let you with the opening title and join you after that. Okay, so this book series is absolutely amazing, and I am so happy I am talking to you about it now, and I am introducing you to this book series because it is absolutely adorable and beautiful, and I highly recommend it from the very beginning. As I said before the opening title, it is the Agatha Raisin series. It is a 35 book series. Yes, it's pretty long, and I've only just read the first book of the series. This year, I've only just finished reading the third book recently, like not maybe a week ago, and I'm filming this review now. I'm so excited to be filming it, honestly, because I have so many things to tell you about it. The first book was published in 1992, and I'm not sure to which year the publication continued, but I guess it's followed along to the 21st century. So yes, it's a very interesting book series written by M.C.Beaton, as I said earlier again, and it falls into the cozy mystery genre. So if you're not familiar with what cozy mystery is, I'm about to introduce you to an absolute dream, because cozy mystery, I think that cozy mystery is the genre of my heart. I absolutely adore this genre. It is everything I love, and I feel like I'm always in the mood. I'm a very moody reader. I read depending on my moods, and I feel like I find myself a lot in the mood for reading cozy mystery. So enough talking about it. I'm not saying what it is. Cozy mystery is, as its name explains itself, it has mysteries. For example, it has murders, little things that are stolen, maybe little cases to be solved, except that it's not like something that is gross or really gross descriptions of bodies and of dead people, and I'm sorry for saying all of these things here. It's cozy. I know it's weird to qualify murders and mysteries and cases as cozy and as soothing and comfortable and beautiful, but believe me, it is, because in this type of stories, there usually is a murder, for example, happening in a little place somewhere in the world. For example, in the Agatha Raisin series, it is a little town in the English countryside, and there are people living there, and like someone dies. And the person who follows the investigation is our protagonist, Agatha Raisin, except she is no inspector, she is no policewoman, she is no detective. She is just an amateur like you and I, and she just finds herself investigating it. So this is the main, I think, ingredient for cozy mystery. Of course, there should be mystery, there should be something to be solved. The majority of times it is a murder, and then the person solving the case should not be someone professional. It should be someone like you and I, which makes it kind of relatable, because you kind of think that it may happen to you. You may find yourself investigating some case someday, and you're like an amateur, someone who only just read about these things in books and watched about these things in movies. So you just happen to be there at this place. I'm tempted to say in the right place at the right time, but it more seems like in the wrong place in the wrong time, since there are murders happening in here. So this is what cozy mystery is. The reason why I think it's so beautiful is because it is relatable, as I said, relatable in the sense of it is someone who, like you and I, someone normal, average, someone who doesn't have anything special in terms of investigating and stuff, who's actually investigating. And it is beautiful because it's cozy. It really gives you some warmth, despite the horrible murder that happened, or murders that happened. It gives you some sense of comfort because it's usually a very safe place in which it is happening, a very comforting environment. To come back to our story specifically, and telling you about the Agatha Raisin series will make me explain to you more what cozy mystery is. So actually, this video is more like talking to you about the 3 first books of the Agatha Raisin series, but also introducing you to the cozy mystery genre, which I feel like I will be talking to you a lot about on this channel, and introducing you to many books of this genre, because I'm reading more and more of that. Not only that, but I'm reading more and more of that in my daily life. So in the Agatha Raisin series, we're following the story of Agatha Raisin, who is a mid-50s woman who lived her whole life, well, her nearly all adult life in London. She was a successful businesswoman, and she just took an early retirement and moved to the English countryside to fulfill her long life dream, which is to buy a little cottage and to live in it all alone, having her early retirement, just enjoying the money she made her whole life, all the hard work she worked her whole life, because money she has some, and she just wants to enjoy her life right now. So she moves to that little village, she meets the new neighbors, she meets the new people, and she's kind of disappointed. This is not what she'd imagined. She's a person who has worked her whole life, who has been active her whole life, who has been a woman of the city her whole life, and then she finds herself pretty bored in the village, in the countryside. But then what happened? There is a quiche competition which she tries to enter. She said, like, this is my chance. I'm gonna make some acquaintances, I'm gonna meet people, because let's remember, she's the outsider. Everyone is like not really suspicious of her, but she's still like the outsider. Everyone knows everyone in this little village. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone not necessarily appreciates everyone, but everyone knows everyone, and she's like the newcomer. So we've got to keep an eye on her, not really talk to her a lot, not really befriend her directly. So she kind of thinks that this quiche competition is her chance. And our dear Agatha Raisin is no cook, so she can't make a quiche. So she kind of cheats and buys a quiche and enters the competition, but damn, what happens? The judge, who's supposed to judge whose quiche is better, suddenly dies after eating hers. So this is where our story begins. She finds herself investigating his murder because she doesn't want to be the one the blame is put on for killing this poor man, and she doesn't want to be exposed as someone who's cheated in this competition, because she wants to be seen as a good person by the villagers and not as someone who's cheating at a quiche competition. So this is where our story begins. This is where the first book begins. The first book is named, I'm only realizing that I haven't said the name of the books. It's The Quiche of Death, the Agatha Raisin mysteries. First book is The Quiche of Death. And this is where the story begins. The 2 other books of the series, like the 2 following ones, are named The Vicious Vet, and then the 3rd one is The Potted Gardener, the one I've just finished. And honestly, I've read The Quiche of Death in the beginning of the year, somewhere in February, I think. And then The Vicious Vet somewhere around May or April. And then for the 3rd book, The Potted Gardener, just lately in November. So I kind of put a lot of space between the books. And from a book to another, I found that I've forgot some of the details, but M.C.Beaton, the writeress, makes a wonderful job reminding us of what happened in the book before. So even though I put space between, like months, literally, between my readings, the author is doing a good job into reminding us what happened in the previous one, and it's all like really smooth and clear, and it's not really something that's paralyzed me in my readings, even though I put a lot of time between them. I rated the first book 5 out of 5, and then the 2 others 4 out of 5, honestly, for no particular reason. I loved them as much as I loved the first one. There was just some minor things in the storyline that annoyed me. For example, the character of Roy, which when we'll be reading, I think that he will annoy you, and I felt like I thought that we said bye-bye to him in the first book, but we found him in the next book, in the second book, and then I thought that we were gonna say goodbye forever to him in the second book, but boom, he's again in the third book. I wish we said bye-bye to him for good, because I don't like him. He's no good to our dear Agatha. I don't like him at all. So that's it. I think that this is the only minor little detail why I rated the 2 others 4 out of 5. Others from that, the writing style is absolutely wonderful, and what I'm loving about it is how casual and smooth everything seems. Like everything is described. There is great description without it being too much description that gets you bored, and everything is described like it is the most normal thing on earth. Like you're reading, and you think that you're reading a normal scene in a house, but then it's the scene that will describe you the person who's dying, who's being murdered, dying, and it's just described like the most normal thing in the world, and I find that particularly talented. I don't know. It just creates this effect of surprise without any kind of shock, without the scene being shocking, and without going into gross details that can shock some of the readers. And I just like that about the Agatha Raisin series. Everything is described as like it is the most normal thing in the world. Another thing that I love about the series is how relatable the character of our dear Agatha Raisin is. When I'm talking about her being relatable, it's not necessarily like me finding myself in her or you finding yourselves in her. Actually, you might not find yourself in her, but when I'm talking about her being relatable, I'm talking about her having actual flaws, having actual, not just qualities, having also problems, things that she needs to fix about herself. And I love that we spend a lot of time in her head, in her thoughts, in her process of thinking, how she, for example, judges everyone in her head, and she knows that it's bad, and she tries not to just like judge them openly. And the way her character is portrayed, for example, judging people about what they're wearing, what they said, or for example, also she's the kind to assume the worst about someone before getting to know them, and then getting to know them and being like, oh my god, I was wrong about these people. So this is not portrayed as something that is good. So it is not portrayed as a quality. It is portrayed as one of her flaws, and the way the author, the writeress, embraced every single one of Agatha Raisin's flaws is just so beautiful. It makes her someone with so many qualities, but also someone who has problems, who has flaws, flaws are not necessarily always problems. Everyone has them. So she's just someone, I'm saying a lot of the word flaw because I can't find the synonymous to this, but anyways, she has a lot of them, and she kind of tries to become a better person and then loses in front of herself, and then tries to become again better, and then tries to get inspiration from the people she's gonna meet around her, the friends she's gonna make. And it is very lovely throughout it's been 3 books now, and it's been very lovely following the development of her character, the change she's operating on herself unconsciously, because of the influence of her environment, because of the influence of how this environment influenced the way she's thinking, but also it is not a dramatic change in her personality. She's not just changing overnight or saying bye-bye to her old self or disowning her old self. She's actually embracing herself with her flaws, with her qualities, her strengths, her weaknesses, and I love that about her. One of her other flaws, for example, which is something that I've told you earlier, she is a cheater, and oh my god, this sounds so wrong. She is not cheating on her husband or anything. She cheats, for example, on competition. She's someone who is very competitive and she wants to win. She needs to win, like in everything, and that makes her sometimes make the not the smartest decisions. For example, cheating in that quiche competition, which led her to the judge eating her quiche, freaking dying. And what is interesting about her again is we think that she's gonna learn her lesson and not do that again, but she's actually gonna do that again. And this lies again in the terms of how relatable she is, because there is, as I said earlier, not a drastic change in her personality, like a dreamy change. The dreamy change we all want to make in our personalities, in ourselves. We just want to change overnight, and we don't. Change takes time, it takes effort, it takes lots of time again. So, and Agatha Raisin is portraying that, the person who's not really trying to change, and despite that changing a little bit for the better, but not really denying her old self or not liking or loving her old self. She's just that person, and you grow attached to her despite all of her flaws, despite all of her awful flaws, and you find the ability to appreciate all her qualities. And I think that my last point on why I love this series so much is how lovely the environment is, how lovely the other characters are, and how we get to see a lot of them. We don't get to see just about the story of Agatha Raisin. We get to see about the other characters too. The new friend she's gonna make, for example, Mrs. Bloxby, I don't know how to read her name, the vicar's wife, who's gonna grow to be one of Agatha's greatest friends, and I'm really enjoying reading about their friendship and how they're growing closer together. We're gonna meet so many other people that live in this village. We're gonna also encounter the character of James Lacey, who's gonna be, little spoiler alert, but it's really like the end of the first book. The introduction to this character will be at the end of the first book, and then you'll get to see a lot of him later on the other books. He's gonna be Agatha Raisin's love interest, but it's gonna be like a one-sided love. She's gonna love him, he's not gonna love her. And James Lacey got on my nerves a lot of times, and then sometimes I'm like, maybe he's right, and then sometimes like, no, he just gets on my nerves. Dude, you need to change, you need to act better. But anyways, everything is really lovely, and the thing about these books is that they're very short, so you may just hold the book in your hand and then read that in an afternoon, which is perfect, and you can read that in a long time also, which is perfect too. Really highly recommending this series to you. It is witty, it is funny, it has a lot of humor, it has a lot of drama, which is obviously it's murders, it has a lot of mysteries, it has a lot of investigations, it has a lot of also daily life, and this is what cozy mystery is. Despite there being a murder, we don't forget that it's like daily life described so beautifully, and we feel like wrapped in warm blankets with a touch of mystery. So yes, I'm highly recommending that to you. So thank you all for listening to me. I hope that you liked this book review, that you've appreciated that, and that it made you want to read the Agatha Raisin series. It is really good, so go read it. So thank you again for watching me, for listening to me. I hope you are doing all right, you are doing well. Tell me in the comments if you've ever read any cozy mystery, anything cozy mystery. If you've ever read this series, what did you think about it? If you're impatient to discover it, and tell me again if you've ever read other cozy mystery books. Give me your recommendations. I'm taking any recommendations, cozy mystery. So yes, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if it's not already done, to hit the like button and to share the video around you. So yes, thank you all again, and see you all very soon. Je vous aime.